Hello, I'm Michael Redmond, professional Go player. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the position we're seeing right here, where black has played a one-space pincer against white's approach move, and white has played a double kakari, or a double approach move. So this is sort of turned into a series of videos about the one-space pincer. In a previous video, I did talk about the high pincer and white's double kakari, and I told you that black should enclose the more cramped white stone by playing an attachment here. And in another video, I did show the 3-3 invasion Joseki, and that was for both pincers, the low and the high one-space pincer. I'll put links for those videos in the video description here, so that's something you can find usually below the video. And I'll put links for those videos in it. Or if you have subscribed to my channel, you've probably seen them already. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking about this situation. Again, as in previous videos, I do have a full board position that I have in mind. So just to take a quick look at that. It's probably something like this. So to go through the opening moves, I'm going to say it's a position where black has played a large corner enclosure in the upper left corner and has ideas of building. In this second, black will be building towards the upper side and the left side of the board. So that's these two areas where black has potential to make moyos, or areas that black controls and could eventually turn into territory. And so when white plays this approach move, this is the kind of position where black would like to play a pincer. It's not the only choice black has. Black could play a move to the right side like this, for instance. That would not be a bad move necessarily. But this is a position where I would like to play one of these two pincers, and that's why I'm making these videos with this board position in mind. So back to the small diagram. When white plays the double kakari here, it's a good idea for black to enclose the more cramped white stone. So this is an idea we've seen in previous videos also. And black is going to attach on the upper side to confine that white stone on the upper side. And when white has played this double kakari, white's idea is almost always to jump into the 3-3 point and connect to one side or the other. So that's white's basic plan here. And this is what black should be prepared for. And there are some moves you might think are missing, some moves that are not this move for white. And if I ever do a video about that, it'll probably be a video about unusual moves that don't really work. So that would be a completely different idea. It's not going to be a Joseki video, really. So that might be coming in the future. For the purpose of this video, I'll just be showing this variation for white. When white plays here, black is going to cover from this side, allowing white to connect up to the white stone on the upper side. Black wants white to connect up to this stone because this is the stone that is cramped. When white manages to make some territory, it will be more confined. It will be a smaller territory. And black will be able to build thickness or strength towards the right side and the upper side. So white naturally will connect here. And it's good for black just to play the solid connection here. This is a nice straight shape. Black stones are connected in a straight line. And it's good just to connect directly. White will almost always follow with this move. White has to do something to stop black from pushing through there. So for instance, if white just plays some other move, black will push through here. And white will be broken off there. That white stone on the left is cut off, and white's down on the second line on the right. So it's not perfect for white on both sides, and this is a good variation for black. So white's going to save that stone, and will almost always play this move because it's a good, efficient move. It's threatening to play a hane at n16 next to cut black. So if black just completely ignores it, white's next move will be here. And this is a fight that is a bit dangerous for black, because if black cuts here and white extends, white is threatening both the left and the right. So black has to do something locally here to stop white from doing that. So back to this position. This is actually a fairly important point in this Joseki, where it seems to be safe if black just plays something like this, but this would be a bit slack. It would allow white to play the Hanetsugi here, and white would get to play on the right side too. In this position, white has a forcing move here on the second line. If white's stones on the right side ever get into trouble, white would be able to use this forcing move on the right. And with that forcing move, it will be relatively easy for white to make a base for that stone at 6. So white's group on the right is fairly strong. White has a big corner in this case. So this is good for white. Therefore, it's a very important move for black to go down here, stopping white from doing that. And this is indirectly stopping white from playing the Hane on top. So if white plays this now, this is going to be kind of a suicide attack, because if black cuts here and then pushes through and jumps here, white's already dead in the corner. So because of that, white cannot very successfully fight in the center of the board, because white will have to protect the corner before white's actually ready to do that. So white can't really attack at one yet. White has to protect the corner first. And so white will probably just play here. So up to this point, this is basically the first stage of this Joseki, and black is already being fairly successful in building a wall towards the right, and is building to a thickness maybe towards the upper side also. So it's a good start for black. And this is where we come to a final turning point, where black has to decide how to deal with the weakness at N16. So that's one of the characteristics of this low pincer, is that it does have a weakness at N16. So a very straightforward move would be to just jump here. And this is not decisively bad, but it is a bit slack. It does give white the opportunity to play an extension on the right side, and it's a bit weak in territory. So if you watch professional games, you're going to be seeing black playing a pincer on the right side instead of protecting at 1. And in fact, the most common professional move is probably this one, and it has been fairly successful. But I'm not going to advise you to do it in this video. The reason is that white has choices of attacking at N16 or starting from the right side. And every time white makes a decision like that, black's plan has to change. So it's a bit of a complicated fight where the plan changes with every move. So I've found a move that is going to be arguably better. And it's also much simpler. So this is something that I think that people who watch this video would be able to use in their actual games. And I think that's important if you want to improve while watching videos. And it's also very successful. So I'm going to say black should pincer here. And with this high pincer, this also is making miai, interchangeable points, of a move on the right and a move to protect N16. So for instance, if white jumps out here, black is going to peep once and then protect the cut here. And so this exchange on the right side, with black getting a pincer here and white jumping out in response to it, has made those white stones heavy. And black got to play at 4 also. So this is just perfect for black. So if white continues with, for instance, something like this, black will just extend on the right side. And black has played both sides. So this is good for black, with white just inside the 2 black groups and floating around in the center. So black's going to have potential to attack this white group. Coming back to this position, if white plays some kind of a pincer on the right side, black's just going to stop white from trying to connect up underneath. And this is going to make miai of connecting underneath or enclosing white from the outside. So if white plays here, black can just enclose from the outside like this. And this is going to be trouble for white. Or if white runs away, black just connects underneath. All of black's stones are connected white is just floating around in the center there, and white's group there is not going to easily be able to connect up to anything. So black's going to have a lot of opportunities to attack this group. It's just going to be very easy for black to continue the game. So I'm going to say this is just a failure for white. Let's go back a few moves. Since if white moves from the right, black's just going to protect that weakness. Let's just go through that sequence once more. This whole sequence where black has played a pincer on the right and also has protected the weakness at N16. Basically, black's done two jobs at once. So this is good for black. I'm going to say white's most likely move is to attack here first. And when black has played this high pincer here, black's plan is very simple. If white attacks at N16, black is just going to add stones to the right side and make a good position there. So what black does is black plays here to enclose that white stone on the right. If white extends here, black's still not going to cut. So basically black's plan is just to threaten to cut at N17, but not to actually do it. So that continues with black playing here. If white connects at N17, black will just play a move on the right side. Let's take a look at it with the whole board position. So in this case, black would extend to the right side here. And when we look at this, we can see that black has taken a position on the right and has a kind of a position on the upper side also. And most of white's stones are not making any territory. So while white has broken through here, there's no territory attached to these stones, and it's perfectly fine for black. And again, I should mention how important it is that black played this stone at the very beginning, forcing there first, before getting into this variation where black ignores white's attack on the upper side. So just to go through the variation once more, black encloses the white stone that is relatively cramped, and then allows white to connect up to that stone to get a relatively small territory in the corner. And after this, everything is focused on the fact that white is trying to attack at N16. And so that's why this Sarari, the extension to the second line, becomes an important move, because this is black's golden chance to play this forcing move and reinforce the stones on the right side. White cannot attack yet, so white must protect the corner. And now black can afford to ignore those moves that white is playing on the upper side, you might say, and just get good positions on both sides. So that was my commentary on this basic Joseki, where black has played a one-space pincher and white played the double kapari on the right. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to sign up to my channel so you can get more videos like this.